Yo, it's money. Talking about maneuvering these 9 to 5s and just basic life lessons, period. Um, I wanted to keep it lighthearted for my second video of the day. And let's talk about commuting to your job. Whenever that is. Commuting to your job in the morning, night, afternoon, evening. Um, Commuting to your job, what does that look like for you? You know, the thing is with commuting is that, and I'm not talking about waking up in the morning routine stuff. No. We're skipping that. We're getting right into, and we're not talking about being late either. This is a regular, you're just driving to your job. You know, um, when you get in your vehicle in the morning, or ride your motorcycle or whatever you do, scooter, whatever. Fuck, your bicycle. Um, when you put those keys in the ignition, if you're not embodying Ricky Bobby, consider yourself an NPC. You might be a non-playable character. You might need to go get a CAT scan because, you're making it worse for everybody else in the morning. That's where traffic comes from, is driving like a NPC. You're driving, if you're cruising to your job at any part of the day, whatever, if you're cruising at all to your 9 to 5, you're a non-playable character. You might not be human. You need to go get a CAT scan. You need to make a doctor's appointment because, you should be embodying Ricky Bobby when you start your fucking vehicle in the morning. Cut it up. Get on that highway. If you're not first, you're last, buddy. You know what I'm saying? Like, get in that fast lane and floor it. Cut it up. You know, that you're just making it so much worse for everybody around you. That the actual people that are actually headed to their job trying to get there, you'll feel a lot better about yourself if you embody Ricky Bobby. By the time you start your fucking engines up. Like, you shouldn't be cruising to your job. You know, I promise you, you embody Ricky Bobby on your way to work, you'll feel so much better when you get there. You'd be like, I was cutting it up. I got here fast. Fast. I like fast. Fast. It was fast. Some shit you didn't even think about. Before you know it, you're at your job. If you're cruising on your way to work, commuting to your 9 to 5, you need to make a doctor's appointment as soon as possible and get a CAT scan done because that's ridiculous. What are you doing? What are you actually doing? What are you thinking about? You're not thinking because you're cruising. What are you thinking about? You're just clogging up the rest of the highway and the roadway because you're not thinking. You're just creating this pile up behind you, and I believe those are the people that get in crashes. I don't think it's the people driving fast, because when you're driving fast, you gotta be on top of it. You gotta be Ricky Bobby. Ricky Bobby don't crash. He might crash at the end, whatever the fuck, but I don't think Ricky Bobby's crashing his vehicle. I'm sorry, you're not Ricky Bobby. You're just a crash dummy at that point. When you embody Ricky Bobby, it's powerful. You're going to get there as soon as fucking possible. And you're going to feel your best. You're gonna be pulling up, parking that fucking vehicle like this. Like this, motherfucker. You should be, before you walk out of the house in the morning, you should be laying a beer bottle down next to Ricky Bobby's fucking picture. And next to baby Jesus, because it's ridiculous. You should be embodying Ricky Bobby and being him on your way to your job. I promise you, you'll feel 100 times better. You'll feel 100 times better. When you get stuck in traffic as Ricky Bobby, it's detrimental. It's like, what is going on? You're looking for all your openings. You're looking to cut this shit up. Cut all this traffic up, and there's a lot of NPCs on that road. A lot of non-playable characters. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting. I'll give the semi-drivers a pass. When you're a good semi-driver, you're not clogging up the fucking roadways. You're not clogging up the on-ramp. You're not... and that's a subtopic. Like semi-drivers, like when you're good at driving semis, there's a specific way you drive on the highway. They teach you that shit in trucking class. You don't hog up the merge lane, and you're not clogging up the fast lane. You're right in between. You're right in that middle lane. You're letting people merge on those on-ramps, coming onto the highway, and you're staying the fuck out of Ricky Bobby's way. You know what I'm saying? Like, and there's a lot of Ricky Bobbies out there. Hats off. I tip the hat to you. For all my Ricky Bobbies out there, because, you should be embodying that as soon as your key goes into the ignition. Push to start, whatever your shit is. That's why I love driving a motorcycle, because traffic don't stop me. The bridge better be up. You know what I'm saying? Like, to let ships pass. Like, there better be, like, no way for me to go. When I'm driving my motorcycle, any time of the day, morning, night, I'm never stuck in traffic. The only time I ever got stuck in traffic on my motorcycle is the bridge was up. And it was letting cargo ships go past. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I love driving the motorcycle, because you just never get stuck in traffic at all. It's impossible. But yeah, commuting to your job in the morning, what does that look like for you? If you're cruising, you're a non-playable character, you're an NPC, possibly a piece of shit. You don't feel good about yourself. You're cruising to your job in the morning. Motherfucker, if I had a... I don't have a manual car right now, but motherfucker, I'd be drinking a cup of coffee, smoking a cigarette, and shifting gears all at the same goddamn time. And these people can't even fucking... I don't know what they can't do anything. They're NPCs. Shout out all my Ricky Bobbies out there, because we just make it so much easier. You can tell when you see Ricky Bobbies on the highway, and we all feel good. We're gone. Buddy, we're gone. I don't even really see police on my commute to the job. Like, police are busy with criminals. They're not looking for Ricky Bobby. They're not really. You gotta be really driving fucking reckless out there. And you're not Ricky Bobby. You're a crash dummy at that point. You're driving out there. You're driving reckless. You're a crash dummy. Ricky Bobby doesn't drive Ricky Bobby drive so fucking professional and fast. You know what I'm fast. It's fast and professional. We're hitting all the right gears at the right time. We're slipping into these pockets at the right time. We're looking ahead. We're looking at the road. We're looking at traffic. We're looking at all our ins and our outs and anything that we can do to just get that road open in front of us, and get there as fast as fucking possible. Ricky Bobby's no crash dummy. You know what I'm saying? Ricky Bobby could crash out, but he's not a crash dummy though. You should be embodying Ricky Bobby, every time you commute to your job. I promise you'll feel so much better. So much better. I don't even know what to say to the NPCs. Like, they're NPCs. They're non-playable characters. We don't know what the fuck these people are doing. They're just clogging up the road. They're just clogging up the road. They're not doing anything. They're just bots. What are you doing? And there should be an age limit for driving too. You're pushing 80. You shouldn't even be allowed to be on the highway. You know what I'm saying? Or anything. You shouldn't even be allowed to have a vehicle. And that's a past way. I've only seen that once every red moon. You'll catch a senior citizen on the highway. You can see it. You're looking through the window and you're like, holy hell, this person is about to die in the car. Like, it's just like they're driving to their own funeral or something. It's just like, bro, you don't have any children or anything or somebody to get you there. I'm not understanding. Like, I'm 80, 90 fucking years old. I'm not driving my vehicle. I got somebody to drive me something. Uber something. Not Uber. Is it Uber? I don't fucking know. Yeah, Uber. I'm thinking of Uber Eats, my bad. But yeah, commuting and you can even signify that with other people, and other team members. When you get to your job, they're just like, did you see that traffic back there? Holy hell, that was shit. What were they thinking? This morning, it was like before the bridge, it was just like, and it's already like, I just don't understand. Those on-ramps, they already, you know how they do it. I don't know what those lights are called on the on-ramps. I forget. Dude, I know what it is called, but they're like, sometimes there's a 3-lane, it's a 2-lane on the on-ramp, and they're slingshotting people out, one by one. That's fine. I don't really have a complaint about that. It's when you get on the highway. That's just your green light to go. You're Ricky Bobby. You're gonna follow the rules of stuff, on the road, but you're gonna get there fast. Again, shout out my Ricky Bobbies out there. Yeah, just that. Signify with your team members. Like, what the hell was that traffic? I got past that bridge, it just opened up. I stepped pedal to the metal. Holy hell, you were going to make me late for work. If anything, all these fucking NPCs clogging up the roadway. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Sometimes commuting to work, you're just like, what were people doing? And I went to work early this morning. You know what I'm saying? Like 6 a.m. How is there traffic at 6 a.m.? What are you doing? What are you doing? And minus if there was a crash or something. Well, fuck that. You shouldn't even crashed your fucking vehicle, you piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? You're just being a piece of shit. You crashed your vehicle? You're a piece of shit. Give it up. Give it up. You're a piece of shit. You crashed it? You're a piece of shit. I'm sorry. You weren't thinking. You weren't embodying Ricky Bobby. You know what I'm saying? Like, Ricky Bobby's not gonna crash his fucking vehicle. You know, like, fuck. The fucker probably did in the movie, but I'm saying he's trying to drive fast. And he's gonna do it professional, because Ricky Bobby's a fucking professional. He's gonna go fast. You know, and that's what I just want to kind of get off my chest for part two, video part two of today. You know, I want to keep it a little lighthearted, a little comedy. You know, not take things as serious all the time, but, you know, getting in your vehicle in the morning, embody Ricky Bobby, I promise you, you'll feel 100% better. You know, it's money. You know, revealing knowledge of maneuvering these 9 to 5s and just life lessons in general. You know, and I hope you learned something. Peace.